Hey guys, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to learn how to play Times They Are A-Changin by Bob Dylan. So this is a classic, and it does repeat a lot, but it does have basically two sections to the song, but one of them is played differently every time. So we have what would be the verse section of the song, which is played the same way pretty much every time. So we'll take a look at that. When we do that, it's a lot of chords, no bar chords, so that's pretty easy, but we do have a lot of chords, but it's just one part to learn. Even though it happens 5 times in the song, it's repeated the same way each time. Then the chorus section happens 5 times, and it changes every time. So using a lot of similar chords, so it's going to be one of those that is very good to, if you know the vocal line to be able to follow along. Other than that, we're in standard tuning here. So let's start out here. Actually, the song starts with the picking pattern. Now, the strumming pattern uses a couple different, about 3 different strumming patterns in the song, but they're all very similar. So I'm going to break those down to you just with the opening chord, which is a G major chord. Now, this is the G major that has the 3rd fret there on the B string. Now, when you see him play it live sometimes, he has the one with the open B. I'm doing the recorded version here, which has I think it sounds better anyway. All right, so let's start with this G major chord. Let's talk about the strumming patterns. The one that's played the most is going to be a down, 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 up. So we have this. Down, 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 up. 2 downs, then a down, up. So you'll hear that most of the time when he's doing his vocals, especially during the verse. Then he'll kind of give it a little bit more energy a couple times. So instead of doing down, 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 up, he'll go down, down, up, down, up. So just 1 downstroke, and then 2 down ups. So I have this. So work on just randomly going between the 2. So we have this. All right, and then a couple times in the song, you'll hear him just do 3 downstrokes. So that happens too. So if you can just freely, like he would live, just kind of mix up those 3 patterns, you'll be pretty good to go. All right, so now let's look at the chords. So we're going to start now. The pattern is, so let's just use that pattern, and that's 1 time through the pattern. So that's how you figure out how to time these chords. You might want to write some of this down. So we have the G chord. You do the pattern twice. That opens the song. All right, and then the vocals come in, and we have our first series of chords, which looks like this. All right, so that's a G chord, pattern done once. So I tell you what, the pattern's always going to be once unless I tell you otherwise. All right, so we have the G to E minor. Then we go to a C major chord, but with a G in the bass. So if you're not used to that, you can play a C like normal. Then take your 3rd finger there, or ring finger, move it over to the 3rd fret of the low E string, and then replace the finger you picked up with your pinky there on the 3rd fret of the A string. Just gives it a little bit of a fuller sound. So whenever you see a C chord, it's got that G in the bass. He uses that voicing of it. And then he goes back to the G and does the pattern 3 times. All right, from there we're to the E minor. Back to that C with the G in the bass. And then to a D major chord. Now, just like in the C, he has a standard D major, but he has the 5th in the bass. In this case, it's the open A string. Once again, it just thickens up the sound a little bit. So this first group of chords, all right, then we go back, kind of starting over the same sequence here. G, E minor, C with G in the bass, then to a G major chord here. Now, so the second time I'm going through these chords, when you look at it, this is where it kind of veers off. This G, when you get there, you're going to strum the pattern 4 times here, just in the first verse. So we have this. All right, and all the other verses, that G is going to be strummed the pattern 3 times instead of 4. All right, so I don't know if you know the vocal line, you'll be able to follow along. So it's really just get the order of the chords down and then just follow along. All right, and then we have the A minor done the pattern once. Then back to that D with A in the bass for the pattern 3 times. All right, and then we have this little ending thing that ends the verse. Now these chords are going to be played just like this. Say you're coming from that D chord, pick up your first 2 fingers there, just leave your ring finger there, the 3rd fret, and take your 2nd finger and place it at the 3rd fret on the A string. So you have a lot of open strings in there because you're strumming across all the strings from the 5th string. And then this next chord is just going to take the 2nd fret on the A string instead of the 3rd. And then back to that D with the A in the bass. All right, so all together there for the verse section. All right, so that verse section is played the same way every time except for that G that we played the pattern 4 times on. For the rest of the song, you'll always only play it 3 times there. Everything else is the same. All right, now let's take a look at these chorus sections. This is where things really go crazy. So the first chorus, pretty short though, sounds like this. All right, so that's just a D with the pattern twice. A G with the pattern twice. To a D with, remember, every time you play a D, it's got A in the bass. Just once there, back to the G twice. E minor. C with G in the bass. And resolve it down to the G chord with the pattern done 4 times. And in the chorus, he's going to do that pattern a lot. The down, down, up, down, up. So all together for that first chorus. All right, now let's take a look at chorus number 2. So once again, we went back to the verse and then went to a different chorus. And it sounds like this. All right, so it's really kind of feels really erratic, I know. So we have the G chord to the C with G in the bass. Might want to write these down as I call them out to help you out. So G to C with G in the bass, to D, remember with A in the bass, back to the G, E minor, C with G in the bass, G with the pattern done twice, then to D with the A in the bass, then to C with G in the bass, E minor, then D with A in the bass. Now it's done 4 times there, the pattern. Now I don't expect you to be able to just follow along and memorize all that. You should be writing them down. And then if you write them down, you play along with the song enough, you'll just naturally be able to tell what chord he's going to next. He's using just only 3 or 4 different chords, so like I said, knowing the song and where it goes, it should be able to use your ear a lot for it. All right, so that second chorus had a lot of chords in it. So let me play through them one more time. All right, now the third chorus is quite a bit shorter. It sounds like this. All right, so that is G to E minor. Remember, this is chorus number 3. Then D with A in the bass, to G, back to D. I'm sorry, when you played that G there, play the picking pattern twice there. So we have G, E minor, D with A in the bass, go to that G, picking pattern done twice, back to the D, back to the C with the G in the bass, back to the D, and back to the G twice. All right, so like I said, the choruses, they're very similar, but they don't make a lot of, there's no really kind of pattern to it. All right, so let's look at chorus number 4. Unfortunately, this one's pretty long too. So it sounds like this. All right, so let's start here. Make sure you write this down. G chord with the pattern twice. To the D chord with the A, always with the A in the bass. Just once. Back to the G with the pattern twice. All right, now the E minor. Following that, the C with G in the bass. To the G chord, played with the pattern done twice. All right, now the D chord. Back to the C with G in the bass. Then E minor. Then back to the D with A in the bass, with the pattern done twice. All right, now we're back to the G. Then we have that figure that we did at the end of the verse, but instead of playing the full pattern on each one of those, he just hits each one once, kind of resolving it down to the G. So coming out of that G, then back to the G with the pattern done 4 times. So you might be getting a little lost. So this is the thing that you just got to write this stuff down at first. There's really no other way for me to kind of just get it in your head very quickly. I'm reading it myself off a piece of paper, because if I'm not listening to the song, it's impossible. So, all right, let's look at chorus number 5 here. So we are at the end of the road. This is where it starts to fade out at the end of this chorus. So we're going to start with the pattern. Remember, if I don't call out how many times it is, the pattern's just played once. So G, E minor, Now we go to the D again, but this time let's not have this the A in the bass. We're going to have F sharp in the bass. Yeah. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. So the second fret there with your thumb. So that F sharp in the bass, and that goes into the G. For the picking pattern is going to play twice on this G. All right, then to the E minor chord. Then to C with G in the bass. And then to the G chord with the pattern played twice. To the E minor. C with G in the bass. And then G. Kind of just fades out there. So that last chorus, I'll go through the chords one more time for you. G, E minor, D with F sharp in the bass, G with the pattern twice. Back to E minor, C with G in the bass, and G with the pattern played twice. E minor, C with G in the bass, and G. All right, so hopefully that didn't confuse you guys too much. It's one of those songs, you know, that doesn't really have a consistent chord progression to it, at least for the chorus sections, and there's a lot of them. So like I said before, the best thing to do is really get the sound of the song in your head a lot. A lot of people who love Dylan, they love the lyrics so they can follow along a lot. And then after you've got that really in your head, then you can write out the chords like I have them laid out here for you. And I just kind of write the name of the chord, and then I'll put like a 2 over it or under it to show you how many times to play the picking pattern on it. And then I'll go to the next chord, and then the next chord, and I'll put 4 on the next chord if it's patterns 4 times. So I just put the number there if it's not 1. So I can play along with it even without the recording. But if you do that a little bit, then when you listen to the recording, it actually makes it a lot easier to know what's coming up. All right, so hopefully this will get the chords in your hand pretty quickly. All right, see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.